So I was arrested in my home, of which I was unlawfully evicted from, on the morning of the 8th, the very early morning of the 8th, by a officer RAAB, RAAB, and an officer Corey. And Officer RAAB was certainly the one who was leading the investigation and the arrest. And so, he came into my apartment and interrupted my sleep, and because of a complaint that my roommate made, my ex-roommate, Alexander Raskind, of University of Michigan, they arrested me with no proof, and so that I had committed a crime. And so you've probably seen the subsequent video in which I go back to the complex and speak with the complex manager, and a third officer, McNally, conducts gross officer misconduct by mischaracterizing my conduct and falsely accuses me of committing a crime without considering the fact that I am innocent until proven guilty. And then he changed his story and attributed the accusation to another officer, which he did not specify by identification, that relayed that information to him. So he was hearing it secondhand. But clearly in that video, he did not start off by characterizing a crime that may have been committed by a suspect that may have been me. And so I handled that the best that I could. Nonetheless, the previous arrests by the two officers led to me being taken downtown, and some of my personal possessions, some of my personal possessions with me went downtown for questioning. So what I was released probably within an hour's time or so, and when I did an itinerary of an inventory. I'm rather tired. When I did an inventory of my returned belongings, I was missing my library card, Ann Arbor Public Library card, and that's tied to another case circumstance that I've had to do with regarding cybercrime here at the Ann Arbor Public Library. But I was also, I thought I was missing this. So this is my, this is a necklace that I've had for some time. It's a platinum, a plum platinum necklace from Tiffany's, as you can see there, as indicated here. And the stone is an African champagne sapphire with brilliant rounds and chocolate rounds. Nothing to faint over, but nonetheless, I've appreciated it for some time now. So, strangely enough, my shoe was slashed on the top toe part and on some areas of the bottom, and then I experienced another encounter with police, accusing me of something else that involved my shoes, as a possible tool to aid in the crime. So, just very strange circumstances regarding my shoes and the Ann Arbor Police Department these days. However, so not only did there appear to be some malicious destruction of my footwear, but here, the stone here, this champagne African sapphire has been removed from the setting of my pendant, my gold pendant. And no, if you see how it has been removed, you'll understand that it wasn't by a coincidence or by reasonable handling given the circumstances of an arrest. These prongs here have been pried open. And I actually had a conversation with Officer RAAB about my necklace. He commented me about the necklace, and I told him, yes, you know, it's platinum, and I'm fond of it. He says, oh, you're a high roller. I said, no, I may have been in the past, and I didn't think anything more of it. But instead of giving this back to me in an evidence bag, along with other belongings like my hygiene kit here, of which all of these sharps that are used for hygiene purposes were just thrown in basically this pocket of my book bag without warning or caution. And I actually stuck my hand in there like I regularly do, you know, without thinking that I would have to need some kind of caution to do so. I never have before. And what do you know, I poked myself here, and it bled for 3 hours, which was kind of weird. I don't know if it's because of the place of the poke, you know, if that skin is particularly tender or what. But, and so, I did get some Band-Aids from the church that I eat at in the morning these days. But, I guess I mitigated that harm. But, well, this necklace is $1,000, and this pendant was close to $1,000. So, there's a pattern here. The police aren't fond of me, obviously, because I post pejorative stuff about them, as well as the firefighter department of the Ann Arbor City municipality. But to me, these are incidences of proof that they mean me harm, and they mean to harass me. And there's been a number of times when I've gone there and tried to make police reports, and they refuse to take them. They blow me off. They treat me insignificantly and my concerns insignificantly. They come out to my house and lie to me, or threaten to have me taken to the psychiatric floor of the U of M hospital if I want to push the issue of medical treatment for some of the symptoms that I experienced while living with Alexander Raskine, and in that apartment with a number of his hazardous materials that he housed there without telling me, of which I'm going to post videos of in the short future. But I'm dealing with so much other stuff right now that the videos are slow coming. So I've never needed any repair work done to this pendant. It's never seen any type of force. It's been on my neck for years. And as you can see, those prongs are altered, distorted. And that's how I received that back from them. And I received my clothes back in a brown paper bag, but everything else was just shoved into the bottom of my book bag. And so I mean, if you look at the characteristic of how those, I'm calling them prongs or pride, that does not look like a circumstance in which they were at the bottom of my book bag and maybe I smashed my book bag up against a wall or experienced some type of blunt trauma to that back pouch of the book bag, and then all of a sudden these forks came loose like this. These were pride, and this has a lot of sentimental value to me. It's just unthinkable that I would do anything to this piece of art for the sake of making something up against the police. I try my hardest to be an honorable person unless I'm aggravated or harassed or bullied. And so, and then in those immediate circumstances, I can be very fierce at defending myself. They let me go, and to my knowledge, without pressing charges. So I have no reason to make a video like this dishonestly against them. Even if they did remove me from my apartment, a presumed bailiff apparently made an attempt to do so less than 24 hours before they arrested me for going back to the apartment. So I'm making a video of this because I think it's the right thing to do. And I do not think it's the right thing to keep your mouth shut and allow lawlessness to run rampant for the sake of popularity or even an ease of pressure of harassment. I don't operate that way. I never will, and I'll never succumb to it, to any means of force, unless it disables me to the extent that I can't mitigate it. So.